applied myself. I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse. Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like told me, keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win, applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win, applied myself.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dave's Doghouse. This is the final episode on the R2L channel, so I'm glad you guys are tuning in. If you saw my interview earlier, I had my interview that streamed earlier on my new YouTube channel, which is the Dave's Doghouse, the official Dave's Doghouse channel. So from now on, after today, all the Dave's Doghouse shows will be on the Dave Doghouse channel. So I'm actually appreciative. I got 12 subscribers on there already, so I'm excited about that. 12 subscribers in one day. That's an accomplishment for me. I'm excited about that. Hope you guys are ready for the final episode on the R2L channel. I am streaming live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and X. So if you're on Facebook, make sure you like, share it. And subscribe to the R2L show on Facebook. There's a Facebook page on there. So, and then on YouTube, subscribe and become a member of the R2L show. You just click that link. It says join. And then on X, you can like, share, repost it, and you can comment on there as well now, because we got comments from X. So make sure that you're doing all of those things. I'm excited about today. It's going to be a great show because we are now in my guy, you in the doghouse. This is the Dave's Doghouse. So we get to talk about the people that are not doing well, the people that are really doing well. So I'm excited about everything that's going on. I got some things I want to take care of for today. We got some people that are in the doghouse, the old doghouse, and we're going to be taking some people out. But who's going to be in, who's going to be out? Today is Wednesday. Today is usually the off day for the R2L show. So there's no R2L show today. Of course, it means 9:00, so we would have done a show by now. But you at my show now, so we about to have some fun. So when I say have some fun, we got to talk about it's the dogs that didn't do well. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the previous doghouse from the last episode, which was episode 10. The new inductees were Draymond Green, of course, Regis Prograis, and Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley has, gotten fired by the, Los Angeles Chargers, deservingly so. Sorry. I mean, I never wish someone to lose their job, but you just didn't do what you were supposed to do as the head coach there. So you're in the doghouse. You have an opportunity to get better. I'm almost certain you're going to get another coaching job somewhere. It may not be a head coaching job, but you're going to get a coaching job somewhere, so you have the ability to improve. Draymond Green has gotten suspended indefinitely. They're saying now it could be about 11 to 12 to 13 games, somewhere in that range. So we'll see how that goes for Draymond. But Draymond, you got some issues when it comes to being able to, hit people and stuff like that. So You could be an enforcer, but you don't need to do those things. In Regis Prograis, you just got mollywopped by Devin Haney. So that's who you are. So let's see who in the doghouse is going to be released, or if everybody's staying in. First person out, Miss Cheryl. So Cheryl, I watched some of your content. And, you've done a better job of what I've seen before. You were very hypocritical of Caleb Williams and, him being an emotional guy and showing his emotions on the field. But, everyone has their opportunity to get out the doghouse, as I've said before, and you've done that. So, Cheryl, you are now out of the doghouse. I hope you continue to create some good content and do more of what is expected of someone that's in your position. Next, this may come up as a surprise because this team is not necessarily doing well in their respective sport, but they've been competitive. So just because they've been competitive and, they're not the worst team in the NBA, they're one of the worst teams, taking the Wizards out. Wizards have been a pretty competitive team. Every now and then, they just lost another game last night, but Jordan Poole did put up 30 points. He's actually starting to come around and play a little bit better. So Wizards, even though more than likely you're not going to make the playoffs this year or even the play-in, you're actually starting to compete now. It's not a continuous blowout every single night. So that was the only thing. I didn't. It's not like I expected you guys to be competing for the championship or anything like that. But now you are free to be, competitive and be competitive in your sport. So continue to do that, and you won't be able. If it, anyone that's been in the doghouse can also come right back. So just know that when that happens, you might end up back in here. But be competitive. Be competitive, and you may be good. So now that we got the old doghouse out the way, we got new members to talk about. So now, who could possibly be in the doghouse this time? That's a very good question. Before I talk about the new inductee of the doghouse, let's talk about the history of this team. So, franchise started in 1941. They were at that time there was an independent team. They were called the Fort Wayne Pistons for about 14 years. Yeah, for about 16 years, 16, 17 years. They were called the Fort Wayne Pistons. They were and then they went to the NBL in 1942 to 1948, 1949. That was the BAA. And then their debut in the NBA was in 1950 to 1957. Then they became the Detroit Pistons in 1958 to currently now. All-time franchise record. Now, this is not based on what has happened this season, but 29, 39 wins and 3,050 losses. Their all-time franchise record is below 500. So this is not considered a winning franchise. So that's not to say they haven't won any titles, because they actually have. So they have 3 NBA titles, 5 total championships, but when it comes to the NBA, they only have 3. In 1989 and 1990, the back-to-back champs with the Bad Boy Pistons, with the Isaiah Thomas and those guys. And then in 2004, they won the championship with Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace and Tayshaun Prince and Rip Hamilton. Those guys. That was the new age Bad Boy Pistons. The Malice and the Pilots. Those the Pistons that won that championship. So, that's those Detroit Pistons. And last 5 seasons, they lost. Missed the playoffs the last 2 seasons. Well, not last two, but last three. So in 2020, 2020, the playoffs that started in 2023, they missed in 2022, 2021, and 2020. So the last four seasons, they missed the playoffs. The last time they were in the playoffs was in 2019 when they lost in the first round. And then before that, they missed the playoffs in 2018 and 2017. They have some notable first round picks. Cade Cunningham, who's with the team now, Killian Hayes. In 2019, they got Seiko. I'm charging to my head and my heart. I can't pronounce this name. Then they got Luke Kennard from Duke University in 2017. And then they drafted Henry Ellison in 2016. These were all first round picks. Their longest serving GMs were Fred Zollner from 1954 to 1957, from Edwin Coyle from 1965 to 1975. Then you had Jack McCloskey from 1980 to 1992. Those were the bad boy Pistons times. Then you got from 1941 to 1954, you got Carl Bennett. And then, of course, the new age the bad boy Pistons is Joe Dumars from 2001 to 2014. So I've already said the team name, so let me go ahead and bring them up. It's the Detroit Pistons. So yes, the Detroit Pistons are in the doghouse. And I'm going to explain to you why they're in the doghouse. So they last night broke the NBA single season record for consecutive losses in a season. They have now lost 27 straight games. 27 straight games lost. Not only did they lose 27 straight games, they didn't win a game at all in the month of November. So that month of November was called the no-win November for the Detroit Pistons. So they have been pretty bad. So Detroit Pistons, you are wasting one of the best players that you've drafted. And that is Cade Cunningham, because he actually had a 40-piece in the night, but he lost the game. It got so bad that in the game against the Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo was actually sitting on the bench with his kids. His brother Giannis got in the game in the second quarter. Now, everyone has known that Giannis is now one of the best players in the NBA, or even one of the best bench players. But he was able to get some playing time in the second quarter of an NBA game. That's usually not the case. So, bad boy Pistons, Detroit Pistons, you're not looking good. And then in the game against the Utah Jazz, fans were screaming, chanting, "Sell the team." Kelly Olynyk had a season high in that game. He had 27 points, 6 assists, 4 steals. He was 10 and 16 from the field. Now you say, they actually Utah has a good team. Well, yeah, they do, but 4 of their best players didn't play. Lauri Markkanen didn't play. Jordan Clarkson didn't play. THT didn't play, nor did Keontae. And the Pistons still lost. So Pistons just are not a good team right now. There's a real conversation in the NBA on who will have the highest number. Is it going to be Draymond Green suspensions or the Detroit Pistons wins column? They're on pace to go 6-76 on the season. That would be the worst season in NBA history. So, Detroit Pistons, you are now in the doghouse. My guy, you in the doghouse. So there goes the Detroit Pistons. Now we're going to go talk about this other person that's in the doghouse. Deontay Wilder. I'm gonna bring you on up. And once I bring you up, I'm gonna go ahead and explain why I got you in the doghouse, Deontay. So, Deontay Wilder is an American boxer He's held the WBC heavyweight title from 2015 to 2020. He became the first American world heavyweight champion since 2007, which was the longest period of time in boxing history without an American heavyweight champion. As of April 2023, that was, early in the season, he is ranked as the world's third best active heavyweight by the Ring magazine and ESPN. He had a late start to boxing. He didn't start boxing until he was about 20 years old. As an amateur, he won a bronze medal in the heavyweight division in the 2008 Olympics. He is known as the Bronze Bomber. He coined this after Joe Louis, who was known as the Brown Bomber. A lot of people don't know, but he actually played football in college, at the University of Alabama. That he started his career as a college football player. But he didn't switch to boxing. He has a lot of knockouts in his career. And you would think that Deontay Wilder would be, a really great fighter. But in his previous fight, he did not look so good. Deontay Wilder lost every single round of that fight. It was scored 120 to 108. So Wilder is being wild by being terrible. You lost that fight to Joseph Parker, and you just continue to look bad. And even after the fight, you tried to make it seem like you losing that fight is now good for Anthony Joshua because he's now avoiding the fight against you. But y'all agreed that you both will have to win that fight in order for y'all to fight each other. It's not his fault that you lost and that you got beat badly. We already know that you're not a good boxer. You're a brawler. We know that you got punching power. We know that what you can do. We've seen you knock out multiple fighters. We see you knock down Tyson Fury. There was a tie, and then you got beat badly in the second fight against Tyson Fury. So Deontay Wilder, you may want to make sure that you do some things a lot better. So I'm going to just say that I expect you to be better. I think you also contemplated retirement after this previous fight with Joseph Parker, and who knows? I personally would still like to see you fight Anthony Joshua, but that's just me. Not everyone might not feel the same, and who knows exactly what's going to happen to you and your boxing career. If this is over for you, I would say it's been a successful career, kind of, sort of, but it could have been better because if you actually learned how to box, you could be undefeated right now. And we wouldn't even be having this conversation about you being in the doghouse. But Deontay Wilder, my guy, you in the doghouse. So there you go. And before I start with the dogs of the week, because this is the fun part of everything, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to have a little commercial break. And, I'll see you guys in about a minute or so. So let's go ahead and play that commercial.
Yo, my name is Lambo Anlo.
This is Dimitri.
This is Ed Hahn.
My name is Daryl Julian, and this is
Refuse to Lose Sports.
Refuse to Lose Sports.
Refuse to Lose Sports.
Refuse to Lose Sports.
Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living in different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it. They told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie. I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me, keep on on running toes, they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win. Apply myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah, no time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win. Yeah, refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Apply myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah, no time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah, refuse.
All right, I'm back. So, what I'm going to do now is just continue to, show you guys who are going to be the dogs of the week now. Because there's some guys that played out of their minds this past week, and I gotta be able to talk about them because they did everything they needed to do. And this thing. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with one of the people that had a great moment. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys have an idea of someone who played really great during this time. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that we highlight these people. And why, if you're in the comments, just think about some people that you possibly think could have been in here, and we'll see how that goes. But very first, this team is in Los Angeles. That we have someone in Los Angeles that's in the doghouse. We got somebody in Los Angeles that's now dogs. But who might that be? Well, I can tell you one thing: it's not the Lakers. They honestly should be in the doghouse, but we'll save that spot for another time because the Lakers are now 2-6 since the in-season tournament. But we're not talking about them right now. What we're talking about right now are the dogs of the week, which is my favorite part of the show. So what LA team deserves to be a dog of the week? Well, let's get into it. This team is called the LA Clippers. The Clippers, people, the Clippers have won 9 of their last 10 games. They were currently on a 9-game win streak. Do you people know that Kawhi Leonard, before missing these last 3 games, have played every single game this season so far? I don't know the last time he played multiple games in the season, early in the season, in a while. I think since the Spurs. So that's Kawhi. 2-time NBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP. We know what he can do when it comes to playoff time. And speaking of Kawhi, over his last 5 games, Kawhi has averaged, at a point when in the last 5 games, at one point he averaged 33.8 points per game while shooting 64.8% from the field and 94.9% from the line. He's the only player in the shot clock era to reach each of those numbers over a 5-game span. This Clippers team was being talked about the entire offseason and season because of the things that they may do, the things that they might not do. They were talking about what is going to happen with James Harden because James Harden was in Philly. He didn't want to be there. And then the Clippers went and got him. And I'm one of those people that did not believe that it would work. What's going to happen with James Harden and Russ? How's that going to work out with Kawhi and PG? maybe they got too many people that need the ball in their hands. So how was that really going to work out? And it didn't look good at first because James Harden just kept playing bad. They were losing, even though Kawhi was playing well. The team was losing, and then Russ made the decision to go on the bench. He said, "You know what? I'll go on the bench. Yeah, I figure things out as far as the start lineup, but I'll come off the bench." And now these guys are playing well. They're one of the best teams in the West right now, and they look like they can make a run in the NBA. Now, Joe seems to feel like they can make the NBA Finals or they can win the West. So let's see what happens. I think the biggest question about this team is health. Everyone on this team has been pretty much unhealthy except for Russ. Russ has been the healthiest person out of this entire team, but Russ is not the superstar that he used to be when he was at OKC. And I guess we can kind of sort of say the same thing for James Harden, but he's had flashes this season. We know what Kawhi can do when he's healthy, and we know what PG can do when they're healthy. So let's see how far this team goes. I'm excited to see what they do, and who knows what's going to happen with the Clippers. They may be able to make a run. They're going to have to go against teams like the Denver Nuggets, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are shining this season. You got to go against the Phoenix Suns, even though they're under 500 right now. I think they're going to pick things up. You got to think about the Lakers. You got to think about the Memphis Grizzlies now that John Morant is back. You got to think about the Sacramento Kings with Fox and Sabonis, even though they've lost some lost some footing in the West. But these are teams that you really got to worry about. And there are other teams that are just dangerous just because of their star. You got to think about Steph and the Warriors. I mean, the Warriors may not look great, but they won. They were on a 5-game win streak. So these are teams that you got to worry about in the West. But if the Clippers are healthy, they're one of the best teams in the West, one of the best teams in the NBA. So we'll see exactly what they can do. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with them. I picked the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets are the team that may come out the West right now, and that can always change because the Timberwolves look great. So, we'll see. We'll see exactly what happens. But Clippers, you are dogs. Dogs of the week. So for being dogs, great job for being dogs. Hey, what's going on, Dan? Good to see somebody supporting the show. Appreciate you for being on here, my guy. So now let's talk about the other dog of the week. This guy has played for multiple teams. He got drafted by the Oakland Raiders at that time. Then he got traded to the Dallas Cowboys, and then he later got traded to the Cleveland Browns. I think with all that information, you may know exactly what I'm talking about. So I am talking about none other than Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper has now joined Terrell Owens as the only wide receiver with 200-yard receiver games for 3 different franchises. So he had a 200-yard receiving game with the Raiders. He had a 200-yard receiving game with the Cowboys, and he now has one with the Cleveland Browns. And the game previous, Amari Cooper had 11 catches for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the Browns' 36-22 win over Houston. Amari Cooper is the 4th player in NFL history with 3 career games with at least 200 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns, joining Don Hudson, who had 4 games, Charlie Hannigan, who had 3, and Tyreek Hill, who also had 3. He is the 6th player in NFL history with 4 career games with at least 200 receiving yards, joining Lance Alworth, Calvin Johnson, Don Hudson, Jerry Rice, and Charlie Hannigan again. I think it was without a doubt how great of a player that Amari Cooper is, and he has balled out this year. So, and this is with 4 different quarterbacks. He's played with 4 different quarterbacks this year. So I think it's without a doubt that we know our Amari Cooper is one of the best receivers in the league. We already know he's one of the best route runners in the league. You put him up against anybody, he can be dangerous. Now, he had his moments in Dallas where he didn't look good. He's had his moments in every season, in every team where he's been, where he has not had good. But we know that given the right moment, he's great. That's without a doubt. So, Amari Cooper, you are a dog. Now, we got another wide receiver to talk about. This guy got drafted out of Texas A&M. You know, his quarterback. His quarterback was also drafted by the Cleveland. His quarterback was drafted by the Cleveland Browns. You know, they thought that he would be the answer for there because we all know what he did in college. You know, he used to put up the money sign like this. And, you know, Mike Evans is one of his favorite receivers. But for some reason, it just didn't work out for him. But it worked out for this guy. I'm talking about Amari Cooper. Mike Evans, sorry. I apologize for that. But I'm talking about Mike Evans. Only 5 players in NFL history have 5+ seasons with at least 12 receiving touchdowns. That's Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, Marvin Harrison, and now Mike Evans. Mike Evans, these are his stats in the last 2 seasons. In 2022, with Tom Brady as his quarterback, he had 127 targets, 77 catches, 1,124 yards, and 6 touchdowns. That was for the entire season. With Baker Mayfield this season, yes, that's what I said, Baker Mayfield. He has 123 targets, 73 catches, 1,163 yards, and 13 touchdowns. Mike Evans is having a phenomenal year this year. He's been the most consistent receiver since he's been drafted. He's had 1,000 yards every single year since he's been drafted in the NFL. Yes, Tomo, that is the Pistons. You missed that part, but the Pistons are in the doghouse now. Mike Evans has 13 receptions, 13 touchdown receptions this season, and is now the 5th player in NFL history to record that at least 12 touchdowns in 5 or more seasons. These are his receiving yards by year. So in 2014, he had 1051. In 2015, he had 1205. In 2016, he had 1321. He had 1,001 in 2017, 1524 in 2018, 1157 in 2019, 1,006 in 2020, 1035 in 2021, 1124, like I just said, in 2022. And this year so far, he has 1163. Mike Evans is one of the best players, one of the best wide receivers in the game, and one of the most consistent. So, Mike Evans, you a dog, man. You a dog. Now I got to talk about some basketball players. All right, so Trae Young. Good old Trae, Ice Trae, you know. that Trey. You know, it's cold down there in the A. He has recorded 30-plus points and 10 assists in 7 straight games. That is tied with Oscar Robertson for the longest such streak in the Basketball Reference database. Over his last 7 games, he's had 30 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists, 30 points, 3 rebounds, 13 assists, 30 points, 4 rebounds, 14 assists, 31 points, 4 rebounds, 15 assists, 35 points, 4 rebounds, 10 assists, 38 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists, and 35 points, 4 rebounds, and 17 assists. You know who has – he has the 5th most assists on three-point shots in the last 2 seasons. The only people ahead of him are Domantas Sabonis, Luka Doncic, Tyrese Halliburton, and Spencer Dinwiddie. He is right now second in the NBA in assists. He's only 1 assist behind Tyrese Halliburton. So that means he's right there. Trae Young has led his team to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think anyone expected that. He got to the Eastern Conference Finals with the Atlanta Hawks without having another superstar player on his team. So Trae Young has been balling out, and we all know we're going to hear that comparison between him and Luka Doncic. You know, did the Hawks make a mistake by not keeping Luka and actually trading for Trae Young? But I feel like it's worked out for both teams. Both players have made it to the conference finals in their respective conferences. Neither have made it to the NBA finals yet. Neither has won an MVP yet. They both have been all-stars. And they're both really good players. So we got to see more of this, Ice Trae. You know, we got to see more of this. You know, the Hawks have not necessarily looked that great so far, but you have an opportunity to change that, you know. So we will see exactly what happens. We'll see if you're going to improve, if you continue this, if your team's going to start winning a lot more games, if, you know, they are able to make it into the further into the playoffs. We'll see. You know, they had the opportunity to make it last year, and, you know, it didn't happen. Miami actually made it. So we will see. We will see what exactly what happens, and we'll see how far that the Hawks can go with you at the helm. Now, for my final dog of the week on the R2L network, the R2L channel, not the network, but the R2L YouTube channel. It's another point guard. He actually was a player that won a national championship with Villanova. He used to play with Luka Doncic. He was the point guard on that team. And they said that, you know, Luka didn't have help. You know, Luka didn't have another star on his team. And that's probably why they didn't get too far. However, Jalen Brunson has been doing a phenomenal job in New York. Now, that doesn't mean that they have gotten very far, because that has not been the case. I mean, they lost in 6 games to the Miami Heat, who was the 8th seed last year. And, of course, I was happy about that because I'm a Heat fan, so I'm excited to see how that happens. And, yeah, it's about time Jalen Brunson gets his shine. He's one of the most underrated point guards in the league, one of the most underrated players in the league. On Christmas Day, Jalen Brunson had one of his best games. He had 38 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and 0 turnovers. He shot 15 of 28 from the field. He scored the most points by a Knicks player on Christmas Day since Bernard King in 1984. He has 9 games this season with 30-plus points. At this point last season, he only had 4. So that lets you know how great he's doing right now. On Christmas Day, you know, his guy, you know, Julius Randle, also had a good game. He had 24 points, 9 rebounds, and he was 66 from the free throw line. But he also did something that Julius Randle hasn't done this season. He's the only player in NBA history to have scored 50 plus points on 100% shooting from the 3-point line in NBA history. He is the only player to have done that. But you know, he joined some good company by scoring 50 points in that game. So there are only 4 players that have a game that have scored 50 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and had 5 steals in the same game. That is Rick Barry in 1974 and in 1975, Michael Jordan in 1988, Anthony Davis in 2016, and Jalen Brunson. He shot 17 to 23 from the field. He tied an NBA record with 9 threes made in a game. 12 of 12 in the second half. 9 assists and 5 steals. He went 8 of 8 from 3 in the second half. He only shot 1 3 in the entire half. But in the second half, he shot 8 of them and made all 8. So I'm going to read off the list of all the players that have shot 100% from the 3-point line. You got Ray Williams, Dominique Wilkins, Kiki Vandeweghe, Andre Miller, Karl Malone, Michael Jordan, Richard Hamilton, Larry Bird, Dominique Wilkins, Purvis Short, DeMar DeRozan, Anthony Davis, Tom Chambers, Jamal Mashburn, John Morant, Kyrie Irving, and Jalen Brunson. Only Kyrie Irving and Jalen Brunson have made 5 or more and not missed. Kyrie made 7. Jalen Brunson made 9. John Morant made 4. Jamal Mashburn made 3. Tom Chambers, Anthony Davis, DeMar DeRozan, Purvis Short, and Dominique Wilkins all made 2. Everyone else on that list only made 1. So that lets you know how great of a player that Jalen Brunson is, how great of a job he did, how great of a job he's doing with his team. He is, to me, the best player because he's mentally the better player, and I think he just has more skills. That's my opinion. You know, some people may disagree, and that's fine. That's your opinion. But I believe he's the best player on the team, and he's done everything he needed to do to be great. So, congratulations to all the dogs this week. You know, congratulations to me for my final episode on the R2L channel. I believe it was a success. Thank you for you all that tuned in. Hope you enjoyed the content I was able to give you tonight, and I hope you enjoyed the new content I will give you on the now Dave's Doghouse channel. So thank you again for your wonderful, audience, and may you all have a good night. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all at the next episode.